Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are tackling a classic Leetcode medium problem, top k frequent elements, problem number 347. This problem is part of Blind 75, a curated list of essential coding interview questions. You can find the full list linked in the description below. Be sure to check it out. Now to the problem. In this problem, we are given a list of numbers, nums, and a number k, and our job is to find the k most frequent elements. We may return the answer in any order. Let's take a simple example. Imagine our list of numbers is following and k is 2. That means we have to find two most frequent elements. Let's see how many times each number appears. The number 1 appears 3 times. The number 2 appears 2 times. And finally, the number 3 appears only once. So, the most frequent element is 1 and second most frequent one is 2. So, we return the list containing numbers 1 and 2 in any order as the answer. Now, this problem is a fun one as it has multiple solutions that get better and better. The most intuitive way to solve this is to count the frequency of every number and then sort them by their frequencies. We can use a hash map to count the occurrences of each number. So, we scan the list and store the occurrences of numbers in a map. Number 1 has a frequency of 3, number 2 has a frequency of 2, and finally, number 3 has a frequency of 1. Next, we sort these unique numbers, that is, keys in the map, which are numbers 1, 2, and 3, based on their frequencies in descending order. This gives us the sorted list as 1, 2, and 3. And finally, since we only need the top k equal to 2 elements, we take the first two numbers from our sorted list to get the answer list containing elements 1 and 2. Now, the time complexity of this approach is O of n log n, where n is the number of elements in the input array. As building the frequency map takes O of n time. However, the bottleneck is sorting. If we have m unique numbers, sorting by frequency takes O of m log m time. In the worst case, all numbers are unique, that is, m is equal to n, making the overall complexity as O of n log n. So this makes the sorting step a bottleneck in the naive approach. This leads to a key question. Do we really need to sort the entire list of unique elements? And the answer is no, especially since the problem states that the k elements can be returned in any order. And we are doing extra work by fully sorting all the elements when we don't even need a specific order for the top k, let alone for the rest of the list. So, can we use some data structure that can help us track the top k elements, that is, k elements with maximum frequency? And the answer is yes. The max heap is a natural first thought. The idea is simple. A max heap always keeps the element with the highest frequency at the top. So, as in sorting based approach, we start with our frequency map and take all m unique number frequency pairs and build a max heap from them. So, here we have element 1 at the top as it has the highest frequency and has two children 2 and 3 with frequencies 2 and 1 respectively. And once our heap is built, we simply extract the top k elements by calling pop on the heap repeatedly. So here for k equal to 2, we'd pop the pair for number 1 with frequency 3 and add it to our answer list. Now 2 comes at the top of the heap as it has the highest frequency, which we will pop next and append it to our answer list, which we can now return. Now, the time complexity of this approach is O of n plus m plus k log m, because first we calculate frequencies, which takes O of n time. Next we build the heap. If we add the m unique elements one by one, this takes O of m log m. But if we add all m elements in one go, Then the build heap method takes just O of m time. Finally, we extract the top k elements. Each extraction of the max element takes O of log m time. So, it takes a total of O of k log m. So, the overall time complexity of this method is O of n plus m plus k log m. However, the core problem remains. The heap still has to be built using all m unique elements. This doesn't fully leverage the fact that we only need to keep track of k items. And this is where a min heap can help us. The idea is to iterate through our frequency map like we did with the max heap based approach, and then for each number we add it to the heap. If the heap size ever grows larger than k, we simply remove the smallest element. Since we are using a min heap, the element with the lowest frequency is always at the top, ready to be removed in O of log k time. By the end, the heap will contain exactly the k elements with the highest frequencies. Let's quickly go through our example. Again, we will use our frequency map and k is equal to 2. We create an empty min heap and first element we see is 1 with a frequency of 3. We add it to the empty heap. Next, we process element 2 with a frequency of 2. We add it to the heap. This triggers shift up operation where heap compares the new element to its parent and swaps them if needed. This way, heap automatically reorganizes itself to place the smallest element at the top. Because 2's frequency is less than 1's frequency, it becomes the new top element. Now we try add element 3 with frequency 1. The heap is now at its capacity of k equal to 2. So now, before we can add any new element, we must first compare it with the smallest element currently in our top k group. A quick peek at the top of our min heap shows us the smallest element is 2, which has a frequency of 2. Since this element's frequency is not greater than 2, we simply discard the number 3. The heap remains unchanged. And now, since we are done with all the elements, we can simply return the heap's content. That is, list containing elements 1 and 2 as the answer. Now, to see the real magic, let's consider a what-if scenario. Suppose our list also had a number 4 that appeared 5 times. Again, when processing it from the frequency map, we'll see that the heap is full. So, we would compare this new frequency 5 to the smallest frequency in the heap. And since 5 is greater than 2, the number 4 deserves a spot in our top k. So, we would pop the current smallest element and push the new one. The heap now contains elements 1 and 4 with frequencies 3 and 5. This shows how the heap correctly kicks out the worst of the top k to make room for a better candidate. And this time we will return the list containing elements 1 and 4 as the answer. Now, the time complexity of this whole operation is O of n plus m log k. First, we build a frequency map that takes O of n time. Then, for each of the m unique elements, we do a heap operation where adding or removing minimum elements costs O of log k time. This gives us a total time complexity of O of n plus m log k, which simplifies to O of n log k. And generally k is small, so log k should be even smaller. And the space complexity of all the approaches we covered so far is at least O of m for using the frequency map. And here we also need O of k space for the heap entries. First, for both languages, we handle an edge case, which is if k is the same as the number of elements, we can just return the original array. After that, the first step is always to build a frequency map. In Java, we use a hash map and loop through the nums array and use the handy getOrDefault method to either initialize a new count or increment an existing one. And in Python, collections.counter is a great shortcut. From here on, the implementations have some interesting differences. In Java, we initialize a priority queue, which acts as our min heap. The most important part is the custom comparator, where we provide two numbers, A and B, and compare them based on the frequencies from the map. This tells the heap to order the numbers based on their frequencies, keeping the number with the lowest frequency at the top. We then loop through each number from our frequency map. Inside the loop, we add the number to the heap and immediately check if the heap size has grown past k. If it has, we poll to remove the smallest element, and after the loop finishes, the heap contains the top k elements. So, we create an answer array of size k and poll out these k elements from the heap and add them to the answer array, which we return in the end. On the Python side, we can use heap-queue library, which provides two great options. The most direct Pythonic solution is the one-liner, where we use an largest function. It takes in three parameters. First is k, that is number of elements we need to return. Next is collection itself, which here are keys in the dictionary. And finally, the key to order the collection, which is the frequency of the key in the counter. It's clean, readable, and what you would likely use in the production code. However, an interviewer might ask us to not use any built-in functions and code the logic manually. In this case, we can follow the logic similar to what we did on Java's side. We create an empty list to act as our min heap. We loop through the numbers and their frequencies, and inside the loop, we push a tuple of frequency and number onto the heap. And note that we must include the frequency in the tuple because, unlike the Java comparator, the heap itself has no knowledge of the external counts map. It sorts based on the first item in the tuple, which is why frequency comes first. Then, just like the Java version, we check if the heap's length is greater than k and pop out the smallest element if that is the case. Finally, we use list comprehension, which is a clean way to extract just the numbers from the tuples in our final heap. Now, let's cover the final approach, which is variation of bucket sort. It is a clever trick that gets us to even better linear O of n time complexity. And when thinking of bucket sort, in first attempt, we might think of using the numbers themselves as indices, say starting with 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. For this example, since 1 occurs 3 times, we could imagine an array where index 1 stores the value 3. Similarly, since 2 occurs twice, value at index 2 would store 2, and similarly, value at index 3 would be 1. For our simple example, this seems fine. But what if our input contained the number 10,000? In this case, we would need an array of at least size 10,000. And what about negative numbers? Say we had a number like -5. We can't use a negative number as is as an array index. And here, this approach breaks down quickly. So, what if we flip the idea, where instead of using number as an index and frequency as value, we use the frequency as the index and group the numbers into lists based on their frequency. Why this will work? Because the frequency of any element is guaranteed to be between 1 and the total number of elements n. So, even if all the numbers in the array are same, like if we have all ones or all twos, the frequency of the number in that case will be n itself. This bounded non-negative range is perfect for array indices. So, we'll create buckets where each bucket's index represents a frequency, and it will hold a list of all numbers that have that frequency. Now for this example, we create an array of lists called buckets. It needs to be of size n plus 1 to handle every possible frequency from 0 to n. Here we create array of size 7. Next we iterate through our frequency map and place each number into the bucket corresponding to its frequency. So number 1 has a frequency of 3, so it goes into bucket at index 3. Then 2 has a frequency of 2, so it goes into bucket 2. And finally, since 3 has a frequency of 1, it goes into bucket 1. Now we need to extract k equal to 2 most frequent elements. For that, we iterate through the buckets array backwards from the highest possible frequency down to 1. So we start the iteration from the last bucket 6, but it is empty. Same is the case for buckets 5 and 4. At bucket 3, we find 1. We add it to our result list. We now need one more element. At bucket 2, we find 2. We add it to our result as well. And now, since we have collected 2 elements, we can stop and return answer list containing elements 1 and 2. Now, the time complexity of this approach is O of n, because it takes O of n to build the frequency map and another O of n in the worst case to populate and iterate through the buckets. This all simplifies to O of n. And the space complexity will be O of n as well, as we need space for frequency map and buckets array of size n plus 1. Now let's go through the code for this approach. Again, we start by building our frequency map. Next, we initialize buckets array, which is the core of this solution. We create an array of lists where the size is 1 more than the number of elements in the input. We do this because a number can appear at most n times, so we need buckets for every possible frequency from 0 to n. Then we iterate through our frequency map, and for each number we get its frequency and use that frequency as an index to add the number to the correct bucket. Once the buckets are populated, the final step is to get our answer. We know the most frequent numbers will be in the buckets at the end of the array, so we iterate backwards from the last index. As we iterate, we check if a bucket is empty. If it's not, we add all the numbers from that bucket to our answer list, and we continue doing this until our answer list contains at least k elements, and after this we initialize our answer array and pick up k elements from this answer list and return this array. So that's all for this video. I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from it. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss an update. Your support helps me create more content like this. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.